I have a neck tattoo idea that would go
You're
up
gonna get a
into
neck
here.
tattoo?
Yeah, but it would go up here.
What is it?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Oh, wow, I want to know.
I feel like you told me, but I
I'm not
don't
gonna tell
remember.
you.
What is it?
I don't wanna
Nobody
say.
cares anyway.
It's a cheese sandwich. Just kidding.
Honestly, that tracks. Just cheese?
Just cheese.
Okay, perfect.
Like a grilled cheese.
Healthcare horrors. Murder. We're back.
We are back. It's time for another episode of Healthcare Horrors. I'm Ashley Boyce, a brand specialist here at Atlas Med Staff.
I'm Alicia Carasella, a training and development specialist here at Atlas Med Staff as well.
And I'm Dolan on the knobs. I forgot to. I literally wasn't going to introduce myself. I just totally was like, oh, yeah, but here we are. We're doing the thing. We're recording a podcast. All I got to do is worry about the knobs. And then I'm like, wait, there is a freaking microphone in front of me for a reason. So hello, everybody listening.
It hasn't been that long since we've recorded.
Glad that you want to participate.
Please participate.
We need to record more frequently so that Dolan doesn't forget how to do this.
Yes.
But he also records the beer podcast all the time, so how would you forget?
That is true.
Because there's no beer in front of him, so it's not the same situation. He's just really unclear about what needs to happen here, I guess.
Just got so sidetracked by the cheese sandwich tattoo on your neck.
I'm still thinking about that and the fact that it's now not going to be in color.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Dang. Dang.
You know what, Dolan?
You know what,
do what
you're-
you have to do to
Dang-a-rang.
express yourself. I will back you up 100%. You're a good
Your
person.
guys' tattoos are dumb.
Okay, so far, none of mine are dumb. That's not true. I got the dumb one covered up. But it's a story for another day.
Well,
Nice.
this is probably going to be a shorter episode, so maybe if there's
wanna
time
hear?
afterwards.
Yeah. Whew.
Okay.
It's not that bad.
So last time we talked about Jack the Ripper, and we had guest travel nurse recruiter, the legendary Eric Stapp, join us for that one. So that was kind of fun. Today we are talking about one of the, quote, deadliest Scandinavian serial killers, Arnfinn Nesset. I don't know if I'm saying his name right.
When I watched the YouTube video, it was really fun to listen to because it was another woman from Norway say everything the way that it's supposed to be said. I cannot do it, but I did like it.
Will you try?
No.
Aw.
What was that? What did I say? Like the German thing last time? That really long word.
Yeah, was it German or Japanese?
I don't know.
So we're just
But-
going to go with Arnfinn. Arnfinn.
So, okay, I'll try to say the name of the town correctly, but I don't know how to say his name.
Cool. Let's get into it.
Okay, so Arnfinn Nesset is a very unknown serial killer. There's not a ton of information on him, but we do know that he was born in Orkdal, Norway, born on October 25th, 1936, which makes him a Scorpio. Scorpios are determined, brave, loyal, jealous, secretive, and resentful. So he's been described as a harmless oddball unless you are an elderly patient in his care.
You know what? I feel like there's a lot of horoscopes that we haven't talked about. So maybe, like, it's weird. Maybe there's just certain horoscope serial killers because I'm a Virgo. I don't think we've had a Virgo.
Pull out Google. I would love to type it on my laptop, but the Wi-Fi doesn't work.
Are you just going to look up, like, Virgo serial killers?
I'm going to look up top zodiacs for serial killers.
Dolan's so zoned out.
He was zoned out before we started, so whatever.
Thinking about his meeting in
matter.
an hour and a half.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
It's like, wow, all the pressure, and I don't have my laptop.
No,
Which-
that's fine.
Zodiac signs have the most serial killers. We're going to take a pause from Arnfinn for a minute.
Yeah, sorry. Side note, sidetrack.
Cancer, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Scorpio account for almost 40% of serial killers as a collective.
Wow.
Yep. Gemini and Taurus only have 11% of serial killers, but Capricorns have the most victims total on average than other signs. Wow. So nothing about Virgo, nothing about Aquarius, so...
It's because we're just so in tune with the earth, man. And we just want to hug the trees. I'm gonna go
Don't
with
want
it.
to kill the people.
No, man, that's too much effort. Okay.
So Scorpio doesn't surprise me, though. If anyone knows a Scorpio, sorry, but you guys strike me as killers. So
Shots
I'm
fired.
just saying,
Shots
my
fired.
personal experiences lend to this jealous, secretive, resentful side.
You guys are both Aquarius, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
you both
so.
Just
That's
had
what
birthdays.
we've determined. Yeah.
Rad. Alrighty. So we haven't made it very far.
Back to Arnfinn.
Here we go.
We should have like a transition with music.
In parentheses right here. Transition.
Welcome to the planet, Dolan. Oh my goodness.
Planet
All right.
Dolan.
Arnfinn.
Okay. He's a Scorpio and all the things that go with the Scorpio. Now what?
Nothing. You guys are just killing me.
I can go.
Can't even deal right now. All right.
See, I wrote down that he was born in Trøndelag, Norway,
Oh, he might have been born there, and just all of these killings took place in Orkdal.
but he was born in Norway nonetheless.
He was born in Norway. So, what did Arnfinn do?
Am I going now?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you had any more on his childhood.
No, I really don't. I
Okay.
have nothing more.
That's
So-
it's that the information is.
I do have a little on his childhood. I'm
No,
sorry.
I don't have any.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, so great, wonderful. He was born. So
Wow. We are on fire
He was
today.
born.
Great, wonderful. He was born. It was a bad thing for the planet, but cool.
So one of the most common serial killer traits, or more common serial killer traits that we have touched on in the past, is how close male killers typically can be with their moms.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up, Arnfinn really only had his mom around. His father was not around. He never knew his dad. I don't even know if he had any siblings. Maybe he was an only child. I do know that he was happy. He seemed happy for the most part, had a seemingly normal childhood, other than, he was a bit shy in school. After he graduated high school, he did become an RN. He excelled to the point where he eventually became an administrator of Orkdal Valley Nursing Home. See, I would have said Orkdale.
There's no E.
In the book I read, there is.
Oh, not according
Probably-
to the internet. And if
Probably
it's on the internet, it must be true.
It must be true. Orkdal sounds cooler anyway.
Orkdal.
Seeing how this was a nursing home, there were lots of deaths due to the amount of geriatric patients. It was, however, around this time in 1977 that there was an uptick in deaths. But there were no suspicions right away.
And most of these people weren't actually sick. They were just elderly.
Yeah, right. Just in a nursing home. I do not have a list or a timeline of patients, like in any sort of order as he began killing. Arnfinn's method of killing, though, was by injecting patients with a muscle relaxant called Curacet. And interestingly enough, in Curacet, there's something derived of a poison used in South American tribes. So I guess like indigenous tribes would put this poison on like the tip of their arrows.
What would it do?
It's a super
It's a
potent
muscle relaxant.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
super
muscle-
potent muscle relaxer. And so it basically chemically choked people to death. And so you wouldn't need this in a nursing home because they only use it typically when someone's going under anesthesia. So kind of weird that he just has all this Curacet. And where did he get it?
Right. And that's eventually how he kind of gets caught. We are unsure of any problems that he might have had with patients or staff. Everything seemed pretty normal. We don't think he had any, enemies or, patients didn't get on his nerves. I mean, we're not really sure of motives. So since he was working with elderly maybe they could have been mercy killings. I'm not sure. And we can talk more about motives now or later.
We can talk about it now.
Okay, cool.
So we'll kind of jump ahead before we jump backward and then jump ahead. So when he eventually was arrested, basically he was like super proud to brag about it and was like saying how thrilling it was for him and how happy it made him to watch these patients die. And then he would call in, you know, the family members right before he was about to kill the patient. He would call the family members and say, you know, your loved one's taking a turn for the worse. I don't think they're going to make it. Like, you need to get here right away. And so the patient would, not the patient, I guess, because they're not really patients. Like, so they are. Some of them are, I don't know. What do you call them in a nursing home? Do you call them patients? We're just going to call them people.
Yeah, I don't know.
So the elderly people who were living there would then pass away.
Residents.
That's the word. I was like, there is a word. What is it? Okay.
So one of the resident would pass away either right before their loved ones got there or like when they were there. And he got a lot of pleasure from watching people lose their loved ones. So then it came out that he had an elderly grandma when he was young and he would have to take care of her. And he was apparently just so resentful that she wouldn't die and that he had to take care of her.
Oh, man.
So then he ends up, which is kind of crazy because as someone with an RN, there's a lot of different places he could work. He didn't have to work with elderly people, I would assume. But the theory is that it just made him so sick that he just wanted to kill them all because he hated old people that much.
Wow. Well,
so that's what I learned. Whether that's true facts or not, I mean, who can say?
Yeah, that's sounds familiar. Like, we've definitely talked about other people that have worked with geriatric patients, and like in their childhood, there was always something with an elderly relative. Weird. So since Arnfinn was the administrator at the nursing home, it was easy for him to get away with ordering large amounts of Kirasit until he was 46 years old. And in 1981, an employee at the nursing home was suspicious enough of the alarming amounts of deaths and the large orders of this drug by the administrator. So the suspicion was passed along to a journalist who ended up reporting it to the police. When brought in for questioning, Arnfinn at first admitted to purchasing large quantities of the poison to get rid of feral dogs that were wreaking havoc in the community, apparently. So, like, that's how you're going to address the situation. You're going to try and poison dogs? I don't know. However, the guilt must have got the best of him, or maybe it was pride. I'm not really sure. He decided to stop lying and just came clean to the murders. He said, quote, "I've killed so many over the years that I'm unable to remember them all." And he confessed to murdering patients in other institutions before he even got to Orkdal Valley Nursing Home. So his killing extends back to his early nursing career in 1962, and he always used the same method of poison.
Wow.
Yeah,
I wonder how he was getting it before.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's really interesting.
And let's see.
So yeah, but he did eventually backtrack his confessions here.
Yeah.
So he confessed, and then he was like, "Oh, never mind."
Well, when he realizes he's actually going to get in trouble for it, like it didn't occur to him at first, then he like walks it back, and so then they can only convict him of what they could prove.
Right. Yeah, so he was found fit for trial after a psych evaluation while police collected evidence on 68 suspicious deaths. However, this particular poison does break down quickly in the body. Therefore, it was hard to trace, and those 68 suspicious deaths were withdrawn from the case. They could not use them as evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is then, the 68 that were dropped, was that all within the most recent years, or do those 68 date back to what you just said,
1962.
Yeah.
I'm
It
not
doesn't say.
Yeah, I'm
Doesn't
not
say.
really sure. I mean, maybe they just kind of looked at his timeline of suspicious deaths from the beginning.
Mhm.
Maybe they were more recent deaths. I'm not really sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So Arnfinn ended up admitting to 27 murders. So taking him to trial with a confession should be cake. But like we just said, in October 1982, the day before his trial, Arnfinn withdrew his confessions. Thank goodness for witnesses, though. So prosecutors had, the signature on all of the curasit orders. And maybe they found a trace of the poison here and there in more of the recent victims. And then 128 witnesses came forward to testify against him.
Wow.
So,
Well, good, because everybody was, he was in charge of the place, and everybody's like, hey, I think this guy's killing people, but who do you tell? I mean, obviously the
Right.
cops, but you have to have something tangible for them to look into. You can't just be like, hey, so I think my boss is killing people.
well, yeah.
But you have, you have to provide sound reason or why you think this, in order for them to investigate it. So it was a long time.
When did this all happening in? What year is this now happening?
The trial was in
1981.
That's when he got arrested.
Okay.
Yeah, and then 1982 is when the trial started.
When the trial is all there.
Well, yeah, and usually if you're suspicious of a death or something, you're going to go to the hospital or facility administration, but he was the administrator. So,
And people were just scared probably but it's that thing of okay, we're suspicious, but is he really killing people? How do you?
yeah, you don't want to believe someone you work with would do such a thing. So after 5 months, the jury found Arnfinn Nesset guilty of 22 counts of murder. And like I said in the beginning, he's one of the deadliest Scandinavian serial killers. So for all we know, his death rate could have actually been closer to 138. But he was put away for 22.
But he got out. He's done. Served his time, and he's out now.
So this is ridiculous. At that point in time, Arnfinn was sentenced to Norway's harshest penalty.
I'll move into Norway in case I commit some crime.
What do you think the harshest penalty is, Dolan? Any guesses?
In Norway?
In Norway, in that time.
In the 80s in Norway, the harshest penalty, I don't know, 5 years.
Okay, well, not that easy going, but 21 years in prison. So he was put away for 22 murders. He only gets 21 years in prison and gets released in 2004.
Yeah, so, and they're saying, though, even though he felt no remorse for killing these people, he served his time, and that they don't think he's a danger to the general population, just old people. And I'm like, okay, so we don't, all right.
So it's okay to go kill, one demographic or
Yeah,
something.
but that's what they were saying, in this video that I had watched, and I'm like, okay,
I kind of agree with this. I
yeah, but there's old people everywhere. There's elderly people all
what
over.
I'm saying is the idea that you go and you spend your time and then you're no longer a problem to society. I think you should be released.
Well, yeah,
at some
but
point.
I think that he's probably still a problem to society.
Yeah, or he's too old to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
We'll see. I don't know, but I'm thinking he's living in the woods somewhere, just
Some
away.
super old guy. I mean, I see what you're saying. It would depend on the crime and maybe you kill one person if you really are truly remorseful.
But 21 years is not a long time.
well, for the amount of people he killed, I
think that's
would
the issue.
disagree with what's going on. But the idea of even even at a murder charge, so many years, and then getting out, like life sentences. I don't know if I totally agree with those.
I understand the point of being in jail is you're supposed to learn your lesson. You're supposed to rehabilitate. Is that usually what happens? I don't know.
Not in America.
Like,
no.
Maybe prisons in Norway are different. I don't know. But it just seems like a really short amount of time to be in jail for killing so many people, because chances are he killed a lot more than the 22 people he was convicted of killing. And
well, he admitted that at one point.
Yeah. So, but then, I mean, then he took it back. But it's like, what? How do you put that kind of price on a human life?
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever. Norway's Norway. We're not going to hate on Norway because it kind of sounds kind of nice if you commit a crime there.
Yeah. Definitely would not happen here.
No.
You would have been put away. I mean, even, well, let's see, 80. Depending on where he did the crime, he could have gotten the death sentence. For sure.
He wasn't even sentenced to a year per person he killed. It was just 21 years.
Yep.
All right, so we already we already kind of talked about motives. There's no super clear motive, and he wasn't even super clear about it. You know, it could have been because of his grandma. Maybe he just really liked the God complex of just having that power. I did read that at one point, he changed his story here and there. He tried blaming it on schizophrenia, but before trial, he passed a psych evaluation. So
they said he was very intelligent.
Yeah.
It's probably just a sociopath, just your run-of-the-mill, sociopath we talk about here on this podcast.
Also, during court, he was charged with embezzling money from his victims as well. So
maybe that was a motive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that part.
Making a little bit of cash here and there.
Wow, Arnfinn.
So, slightly different mold from the people we usually talk about. He was a mild-mannered administrator at a quiet little nursing home. And that's all I got.
That's all I have.
But he was an RN.
Yes. He was a registered nurse and then became the administrator at a nursing home. So yeah, maybe when he was a nurse, he just started learning more about drugs and, his
Well, it's also weird that
method.
The admin is in the room when all the patients are dying, considering they're not on his charge, technically.
Right.
That's probably why so many witnesses came forward, because it probably wasn't that.
Because it's like, why are you in here?
Yeah. You should be sitting, I don't know,
doing
at
paperwork.
a desk. Yeah, in an office.
Clickety click, click,
Sus.
click.
Sus.
Yeah, like you should be doing paperwork. Like, I mean, and I guess I don't know the entire role of an administrator in a facility, but I would think that it's not direct hands-on patient care. That's what you hire nurses for.
Maybe he was like the owner or manager at a restaurant that goes from table to table, like,
Hi,
so
how's your dinner? How's your meal?
How has your experience been with us this evening?
Oh, it's been great. Let me make it better for you.
Maybe
AKA
he went room
ruin
to
it.
room talking to all the elderly people. It is kind of awkward when they do that.
I hate when they do that at the restaurant. It's also awkward when they kill people. So
just leave me alone and let me eat my meal, please.
Oh,
All right, back to his being a Scorpio. What did you say about
Scorpios are supposedly, allegedly, determined, brave, loyal, jealous, secretive, and resentful.
Secretive, resentful.
Yeah, I mean, the last two, I would say check out. We don't really know enough about him to...
I know, I wish there was more information.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we could share what we do know.
Yeah, if anyone else has anything, don't give us too much flack talking about death penalties and stuff. Just let us know more about Arnfinn and
just
in
don't give us
Norway.
too much flack in general. Listen, the days are hard enough.
It's true.
We should probably just accept it with open arms.
Yes, embrace it.
We're posting it on the internet.
No, I don't care what people say.
That's the invitation right there.
Yeah, dude, people on the internet are so rude and relentless. Like, I don't know why it's so hard for people to be positive and give someone a compliment.
Because it's easier to be negative, I think.
Yeah, it's easier. Is it more fulfilling to just like insult someone and rip them down to make yourself feel better? That's just all I see anymore on social media.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I just don't even read the comments on anything.
Sometimes trolling, though, gets traction, and people are addicted to that sort of traction on social media, especially.
Because they're getting attention that they wouldn't otherwise get. Like, because in their real life situation.
Shares, all sorts of stuff. In the Beer with Atlas podcast that we do here, we always have a TripAdvisor at the end where we read a really bad review of the brewery and then make fun of the person that has who wrote the bad review, because a lot of times the account is like one review. So it's like they made an account
just to review this one place.
Just to say, I was too drunk to be served in this brewery, or whatever their complaint is. I don't like the band that they have. Like, there are some crazy ones out there, but
dang. Remember that TripAdvisor we did on the lady who had the haunted house? This was like when we were talking over Halloween. We did read a positive review to counteract the negative review. Yeah.
What was that?
It was the haunted where Joel said he would sleep.
Yeah, where Joel said that he would sleep in the morgue.
The manor.
Hold on.
We're gonna find it.
I do.
In Ashley's murder book.
In 28 days. Lucy Levy. Wait, that was after. When was Halloween? Maybe I have this in my other notebook, actually. Shoot.
It's probably in your other one.
Yeah. So many murder journals. So I just want to say, people, be positive and go like compliment someone today. Just be nice. Don't be an icky human.
Yeah.
If you have something negative to say, just keep it to yourself, because mental health these days is like really rough.
Hard to come by.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. It's
serotonin. Sir, please, sir, can I get some more?
All right, next we will be talking about Richard Angelo of Good Samaritan Hospital in New York, which is ironic because he's not a Good Samaritan.
But he wants to be.
He wants to be.
But he's not.
So stay tuned for that one in 2 weeks.
And don't do anything that Arnfinn Nesset would do. Murder.
Thank you for listening to Healthcare Horrors, brought to you by Atlas MedStaff. Just a reminder, we are not healthcare professionals. We are just fans of true crime, talking about some of history's darkest moments in healthcare. Stay tuned, stay healthy, and stay safe.